amount of money is it going to take for that trade request to get rescinded? Even if it's somewhat real, what is going to now have to be the number for Micah to walk back his public words?
Shefty, what you got?
Well, let me answer both those questions for Dan. Number one, how real is the trade request? Micah Parsons thought about it all week long last week. It wasn't like he on Friday woke up and said, I'm going to request a trade today from the Dallas Cowboys. It was something that he was thinking about doing and was told to take time, to think about what he wants to do, to process it, not to get emotional. And ultimately, in the end, he still felt like he had to announce that he wanted to be traded. We can get Insider RC's thoughts on this as well before I go on to Dan's second question about the money involved. Look, we heard Myles Garrett come out and say he would never play for the Cleveland Browns ever again. He'd rather walk to Canton, Ohio, whatever it was. And in the end, money solved the issue. He became, albeit briefly, the highest paid non-quarterback in the game. So let's be frank. As much as Micah Parsons is saying today, I'm ready to be traded from Dallas, I don't want to be in Dallas, I think Deebo Samuel once said the same thing about the 49ers. Brandon Ayuk once said the same thing about the 49ers. T. Higgins once said the same thing about the Bengals. And now we got Micah Parsons doing what Myles Garrett had done before Myles Garrett resigned. Look, there's always money involved. And if and when the two sides can repair that relationship and keep Micah in Dallas and work out a deal, let's be honest, it's going to make him the highest paid non-quarterback in football, and he then can say, I thought about things, we worked through them, and here I'm happy to be in Dallas. But right now, there's an issue. Right now, there's a problem. And RC can attest to that, I think. Right, RC?
Yeah, I know a little bit about what's going on, Dan.
It's just a broken relationship.
Yeah.
That, yes, money will solve, but I don't know if it's just going to completely erase him publicly coming out and notifying fans, I don't want to be here anymore.
Well, listen, we're talking about Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons, sort of this back and forth, Mina, but this doesn't just affect that relationship. It affects this defense. What does this defense look like without Micah Parsons?
It's not great. Don't get me wrong. I actually like the pass rush depth they added around him. Dante Fowler Jr., Donovan Azaraku, nice mix of young and old. But I like them a lot better when Micah Parsons is being double teamed, on the way to the quarterback. And that's the other aspect of this. They have to get to the quarterback. Last year, when they got pressure, Dallas Cowboys defense was 11th in EPA per play. When they didn't get pressure, dropped to 31st. Now, a lot of that had to do with injuries on the back end. They're still injured on the back end. There are still holes at the cornerback position. So I would say this defense is uniquely dependent on its pass rush. And, of course, Micah Parsons is one of the best pass rushers in the entire league.
Yeah, I think for me, this is about getting Micah Parsons signed and also repairing that relationship, but repairing the locker room. There are players in that locker room that are watching the way you treat your star player, and he's going to go out and produce if he's paid, but it's not just about the money. But we do have some new news, though, right? Todd Archer, he tweeted that Micah Parsons is back in his jersey today. Micah Parsons in his jersey today for practice. Brian Schottenheimer said that he wanted everybody to look the same when asked about it before.
What are we doing?
Hey, he want everybody to look the same. Rules are rules. This is the way that things work. Hey, Adam, they got some more stories, and we're talking about hold-ins. Obviously, Trey Hendrickson is a hold-in with the Cincinnati Bengals, but also Terry McLaurin. What are you hearing about any movement on the contract?
They're also at a standstill, RC, just like the Cowboys and Micah Parsons, just like Trey Hendrickson and the Bengals. The Commanders and Terry McLaurin have been unable to bridge their differences. We heard Terry McLaurin last week come out and issue a trade request, which he went to the head coach Dan Quinn with first to let him know that he would be issuing a trade request. That trade request has come. Like the Cowboys, the Commanders have no intention of trading McLaurin, but there is a standoff there in Washington, just as there's another standoff in Cincinnati. Three notable standoffs at this point in time. With Trey Hendrickson not getting the current contract that he's looking for, the issue is guaranteed money. The two sides will have no problem on the length of a deal, on the average of a deal, but the guaranteed money in the deal continues to be what holds up any deal between these two sides. And speaking of a difficult situation working out a deal, James Cook is now staging his own hold-in after practicing in the early part of camp. he is seeking a contract from the Buffalo Bills, and right now he does not believe that he should be practicing. He called it business, and asked over and over again, he repeated that word, business. This is about business. James Cook is doing his business right now, and he's not practicing with the Buffalo Bills as he continues to seek his own contract extension.
Well, the one thing we know about James Cook, he's been good for business in Buffalo for Brandon Beane, for Joe Brady, and for Josh Allen. And Brandon Beane addressed the Cook holding this morning. Listen to this.
Yeah, it's not something we were fully aware of until, shortly before practice. And so I get it. I understand it's the world we're in, I guess. There's been constant communication with his agent, either with myself or Kevin Megank, or and with Jimbo. And so, I wish we weren't here. This is my 9th season here. We've never had a player miss due to a contract or anything like that. So that's disappointing for me.
Listen, guys, James Cook is a home run hitter, right? He rushed for 4 touchdowns of 40 yards last season, the second most by any player, only behind Saquon Barkley, and actually one ahead of Derrick Henry. And check this out, bro. Saquon and Henry were 1st and 2nd in total rushing attempts last season, while James Cook was tied for 19th. Wow. Mina, when you look at James Cook, how much of a difference does he make versus the other running backs of the Buffalo Bills?
I like the whole group, Ray Davis and Ty Johnson as well, but I think Cook is unique in his vision and his elusiveness, and that's captured in, to me, a stat. He was contacted behind the line of scrimmage at the 2nd lowest rate of any back in football last year, behind only Jahmyr Gibbs. Ray Davis was 17th. And I think that's really important because not only is he's a home run hitter, he helps keep this offense on time. Look, the Bills do not have a group of world beaters at receiver. They have an all-world quarterback, but they also have a dominant run game. And I don't like the idea of taking Cook out of this group because I thought he was exceptional last year, and you saw him really develop, particularly when it came to that vision.
James Cook is the 2nd most important person on this offense. Obviously, Josh Allen at quarterback is, and the unit of the offensive line, everybody's offensive line matters. But when it comes to the importance of somebody on an offense, he's the 2nd most important player on their offense. And to Mina's point, we showed the stat, RC, you talked about the home runs. The Bills don't have this unbelievably exotic run game. There's a beauty in the simplicity that they go through. And you know how comforting it is for Joe Brady to be able on 1st down to call some of those basic runs when they had 6 offensive linemen on the field, and him to look down at his call sheet and go, all right, I'm either calling 1st and 10 or I'm calling 2nd and 6.
Yeah.
There was very few negative runs, very few you missed the holes, very few you tried to do too much. And so that rare ability of you got us 4 because that's all that was there, or you got us 15, 20, 40, and you made it the last